close? Yes. I'm going to see if the writing appears, because last time it didn't. There we go. Yes, yes, yeah. It will be live, so this will be on YouTube. Right now it's being streamed live to our audience. So anybody, if you want to send a message remote, they just have to go to the Winning by Design channel. And as of now, we are streaming. Yes. And then, I can manually update down here the views. And if I turn it around, it will start picking up all your faces too, but I won't do that. But this is the cool stuff. Now I'm going to put this in here. It is going at this moment in time. Okay, so thank you for having me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being our customer. Thank you for being our partner. I mean, like, we got everybody in here. Thank you all for making the journey from far. My name is Jacco van der Kooij. I'm standing in front of you here. And you have to understand, my parents formerly ran a taco truck, pretty much. But a taco truck with French fry stores in it. And, the youngest of 8, and so I progressed through, through my life primarily frying French fries. And then at some point in time, that helped me get to college, and then to college, Philips picked me up, and that's what put me in the US. That's my story. The reason why I'm in front of you after that story is I realized that sales was not the way it was as it was portrayed to me when I was standing in front of, like you, sitting in audiences. The way how sales was represented is closing, negotiating, pitching and so on. That was not what it was about. And so there was a mismatch. And what I found is that the established sales organizations were pretty much making a point, like I had to go to this kind of training and that kind of training and so on. And I go, like, none of that makes sense anymore. The world has changed. Today what we have is we have a higher velocity of customers are buying, and the entire momentum has not shifted to selling, but to buying. So as of today, we're not selling, we are helping our customers to buy. And once we understand that that shift has taken place, we can now indicate and start moving in the right activity. So that's number one. Number two, not only did that point perspective change, but also the way how they are buying have radically changed. And in particularly, in order for you to address that, you need to have a form of a process. Now, what we saw Marcelo present was a process, and in the end, he started simplifying things. And making a process simple is really hard. And that is, like what you need to do. How can I make it really look really hard? Now, the moment in time that Marcelo had the process and he could draw a block around it and he could start measuring it and started giving us exact details, how much money was spent on it, what the conversion rate was, what percentage and so on, we can see, is that a wise decision or not? And by us defining if it's a wise decision, that specific task, is it the right metrics, we can improve upon it or try to do something different. That allows him to make rapid iteration. No process, and all you're looking at me as somebody with another opinion. But if you have a process, it's simple. Draw blocks around it, say this metric is wrong, now I can fix certain things. So that is the second, the next part is process. The third part that we find, which is key, is realization that fundamental skills are essentially the difference maker. Not the advanced tricks that you hear people talk about on like sales stages. Oh my gosh, I found this new advanced trick. It's not the advanced tricks that win your business when you're selling. It's the pure control and the excellence in your fundamentals. And fundamentals are, can you have a conversation with your customer? Can you progress them through a series of meetings? These are like a few of the key highlights. Those are the things that I found that are really, really different compared to what is being told. Most sales organizations believe that there's that it's all about making money and closing deals. That's the result of all this, not the goal. The goal is do your business well, get to the right customers, treat them to help them solve the problem, use fundamentals, and then the end goal and the end result of that will be that you will grow to a nice dollar figure in recurring revenue. Make sense? With that said, Edson, what would you like to get out of today's session? Summary, 3 key points.
We'll have unblock the two main blockage points from on each funnel.
Okay, help. Was that it?
That's it.
Okay, great. Okay, now looking what went wrong, and then since this is public, I'm just like removing the name from what I just heard. But I noticed. Could you grab my note pen that I make a few notes there? Yeah, there was a few notes on that pen. No, there was a pen. Yeah, that one. Yes, that one. Yeah. And so, I wanted to show you where there were a few key items that before I go wrong, what went right. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to draw the funnel as follows. What we had is we had this conventional funnel, in which this one is the commit. In this funnel, we had a number of opportunities coming through from left to right, and at this point in time, the accountant firm commits. Is that right? Now, one thing I noticed, and I use a few analogies down here, is that at this point in time, there was a certain churn. And I'm using that as a starting point of the conversation. Now, remember, what was the approximate churn that he said? 30%. 30% churn here. Now, he also said that he was going to take a look at how to solve that churn, and he had an organization for that. What was the organization responsible for that churn? Customer success. So I'm looking at that churn, and I'm saying customer success is responsible for that. What I want you to do, the first step, because he started fixing that already, but there was a real good observation to be made. Customer success is not responsible for churn. Not.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. Customer success is not responsible for churn. Because we are making customer success responsible for churn, we are creating the wrong pivoting point. Churn is the result of a product not being designed correctly. Customer success can have some influence on that, don't get me wrong, but they can't fix it. Churn is a product issue. By thinking about it that way, you can actually solve it the right way. Okay? This is important. Again, that doesn't mean that customer success cannot help with churn. They can, but that is a band-aid. That's the emergency room after the accident has happened, not the one that helps to prevent them. What is very critical is, so what is the role of customer success? Okay, now he also made a specific statement on that. And, like what we see, so that was number one, okay? Next, and I'm going to come back in a second, and I'm going to leave this question mark open. What can we do with customer success? Now, what we noticed is, what I'm going to talk about is the importance of what happens here. If I call these stages properly, and I say like, okay, down here, I get a customer to first use, what happens in this quadrant? So I'm going to zoom in on that second part. So I'm going to go to that second part. Down here, I got onboarding, first use. First value, first impact, whatever it is. Down here, I'm going to get impact. And down here, I'm going to go upsell, cross-sell, renewal, and so on and so forth. That's 4. Now, churn happens, you have two kinds of churn, or you have two kinds of where you're losing customers. First part where you lose customers in the onboarding process. People just don't like it. And the second part is that, hey, they actually got onboarded, but they don't get the value out of it. Don't get the impact. Make sense? That onboarding churning generally is the product of how quickly does it take you to get to the customers to the first value. If it takes you, after onboarding on this journey, if it takes you 30 days, you've lost, you start to lose a significant amount of percentage of it. It takes you seconds, and it's easy, and you immediately have impact. It's really good. Often a product of that. That does involve onboarding churn, which is often a lesser of the churn, is the only part that customer success can make some impact on, because essentially it is purely involved in the onboarding speed. This part, where the lion's share of the churn generally takes place, we're going to shift that to this point. Now, the other point that he brought up is, I'm gonna bring all these up because these are all the keys. To you they may seem like, oh, he said something. To me, the keys are for us to understand what went really, really right. There's two kinds of funnels. In this case, I'm using the second kind of funnel, and he said, the accounting firm went here, and then the accounting firm was asked or was given the opportunity to make money on what? How could the accounting firm make extra money? Sell the product to whom? So the accounting firm could upsell to the final customer and create that. Now, the accounting firm would make money with that, right? Now, what happened when he started? When he said, "Oh, and then I offered the accounting firm money to bring in extra customers," and what happened? Why was it not working? Customers were not interested in the money, they were only interested in efficiency. That's the trick. We think that it's, oh, he just said that. The key to understanding is that people do not want to be bribed to buy other people. That is not how referrals work. We do not like to refer a candidate because they pay me back. It's a misunderstanding of how referrals work, and as a result, we start creating wrong behavior. People may even feel offended by the time that they're being offered money for a referral. And it's for good reason. Referral is a form of trust. Now, if you go to a supermarket and you buy like a can of Guarana, and you do like 16 in a row, and you go like, oh, if I buy 16, I get a discount on one. That's a different kind of model. That is not the model that you can deploy down here. So what you see down here is, in this particular case, really good that he quickly determined not of interest. What is of interest to this customer? What is of interest to the accounting firm? What did you say? Efficiency. Efficiency. So what should we offer instead of money? We should offer to that person what is valuable to the customer. Now, if I'm an accounting firm, what is my number one problem that I'm going to have? What is the thing, like that I go like, oh, I wish I had? And I'm looking at two kinds of impact in a second. But what is the number one thing I want?
Information, like all the information packaged in a good format for you to work in.
Info, simple, okay? Okay, simplicity, yeah. Easy to understand. What else? Less work? Okay, what else? More what? More clients. What kind of clients?
And also risk management, because they are responsible for the information they send to the government in the name of their clients.
Risk management. Okay. Now this is what they want. For a second, I'm going to hone in on that right now. This problem is referred to as, this is the impact that they want. Rather than giving them money in return for something, I'm going to get like, no. I'm going to try to impact your business more successfully, because that's what they want. Now, I'm going to step into what impact is. Impact has two elements. A rational piece of impact and an emotional piece of impact. Now, rational piece is often dollars, numbers, and percentages. This is rational impact. How much percentage will you increase? How much dollars will you bring me? How much things will I reduce? And the rational impact is essentially what we think we really want it. But that's not how we make decisions. We make decisions on the emotional impact. The emotional impact is exactly what it is. It's forms of, you often hear that, headaches, fears, hopes, dreams. These are all emotional kinds of impact. And these emotional kinds of impact is what the customer really wants. But then, in order to make the decision, they look at this and say like, and therefore it's the right decision. So essentially what a customer do, they make the decision here, and then they validate it with this. This is the decision criteria. This is where you validate it. Let me give an example when you buy a car. When you buy a car, most people say it's like, oh, what is the most effective and efficient car? Dollar figures, investment, and so on. You can look up that number, and there's probably like 3 or 4 cars that are really, really good. So why is the entire world, when I look at the road, why is that not full of those 4 cars, right? Because I got 20, 30, 40 different kind of cars. But really, there's like 4 cars that are the best investments in cars. And I think Toyota is one of the brands that has really a couple of these good cars. Toyota F-150, I think, is one of the best investments you can make financially. Like, Tesla probably will fit in there, right? So you would expect everybody has one. Well, in the Bay Area, we're getting close. For anybody who ever want to see a demonstration circuit of Tesla, go on Highway 9, sit at the top, and there's nothing but Teslas driving by. It's people on the weekend who drive their Teslas to see how they can go up hills and so on. Here in the Bay Area. Okay, but a lot of these, so why do people buy the other cars? Well, they buy a Jeep Wrangler. Well, when you buy a Jeep, what are you buying? You buy adventure. You think, I'm going to take this in the mountain. I bet you that only like 10% of every Jeep ever sold actually sees dirt in the mountains, like rock climbing or something like that, right? Like the other 90% is just people buy the dream. They buy the emotion. Motorcycles. I bet you that motorcycles, there's very few people who actually put really reasonable miles on it. Most people just put the motorcycle in the garage because they bought the dream. They buy emotionally, which they then rationalize with facts and figures. Well, in case of traffic, I can do X, Y, Z. Yes, sir.
So can you think about a sector of the economy that's, you know, pretends to be very rational, but it's really emotional?
Travel industry.
Can you give me a for instance?
Okay, for instance, if you go on vacation, you know, like you could say, like, look, there is right now a beach in Santa Cruz that have sunshine, a beautiful parking spots, and no people. Rationally, facts and figures, and in order to get there, is way better. Yet I have to choose, and in this case I use a sailboat. There's a bunch of sailboats, I can rent them there. In this case, I've chosen to go in the middle of April, a week into Belize. Probably buying or renting an approximately same sailboat, maybe the weather is slightly warmer. Why am I going all the way over there? And it's significantly more expensive. And so I buy it for emotional reasons. I want to get away from it all. Right? And so you'll see this travel industry is one of them. Yes, sir.
And also, how do you determine that, you know, emotional kind of pain points, that it's probably really hidden?
How do you determine emotional pain point?
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to give you a trick that you need to do with your customers to determine an emotional pain point. Now, have you, who bought your product recently? In this room? Fernando. So now I'm going to use Fernando to figure out what this is. So Fernando, I said, and he's going to finish my sentence. Okay? And so I'm going to say to Fernando, Fernando, originally you bought Marcelo's product to help you do?
Control my financials.
Control my financials. However, after working a while with his product, I found that it also offered? Yeah, Excel spreadsheets. What else? Integration, or what was it with Excel spreadsheets?
Integration with my accounting.
Integration with your accounting. Now, integration with an accounting is a form of an emotional pain point. Originally buying that and creating the financials is that. That question you need to ask your customers very often. Originally you bought my product for X. However, working with it, you found out what. And often you find that you hear the emotional points relating to it. Because people are tasked, suddenly they start to see what else your product can do. And it helped them save a headache. Now, every decision maker that you work with has different emotional and different rational impact that they want. For example, if you sell to a technical organization, you have a manager of IT, director of IT, and vice president of IT. They may have 3 different layers of emotional. All 3 of them have different emotional and different rational goals. Sometimes when companies are really well structured, they essentially word the same rational impact to you. Oh, we need to reduce costs, we need to increase revenue. But the emotions for every person can be very different. Okay? Emotional and rational impact, we need to clearly differentiate it. Now, what customers want, if I look at that funnel, what they essentially want all the time is impact, sometimes without knowing that. This journey from left to right is impact. So, if you know your product really well, you should know what impact that product can deliver, right? That's the reason in the end why you bought it, why you started creating it. And so you need to know that impact, both emotional and rational. That's what I buy. From here, I'm going to say, well, if I can give you that impact, then I'm going to get you to buy more, upsell, refer others, cross-sell, or renew minimal, right? That would be an easy enough assumption if I give you the impact. So now I'm going to go like, well, in order to get to the impact here, I got to get to that first use. We'll skip that for a second right now. We'll get to the point like, okay, we know onboarding experience needs to be great. Then I go to this point down here. If you sell me, and you're on the phone talking to me, what are you selling me? What would you sell me?
I'll try to sell you on the emotional impact that we're talking.
Maybe you do today. If I go to any one of your sales teams and I would listen to one of their calls, I don't think they will be giving me the emotional impact on that call.
No.
What will they be talking about?
Rational.
Features? Maybe a little bit more? Price? And so most of the times, and I'm not saying what you want them to say, I'm saying that when you actually listen to their calls, you're going to be in most cases pretty horrified with what they're saying on the call. And most of the times has to do with price. And believe me, we hear this all the time. 20% discount is the starting point of the conversation. Like five to 10 minutes into the conversation, we're already talking about discounts, right? So dollar figures and discounts are almost immediately associated. And yes, in Brazil, that is even worse, right? It's like a given. And so then the next part is I'm probably talking about features. And in the beginning, I'm talking about probably products. Now, this does not relate to that impact. This is just, like it doesn't have a direct, that's not what they're not buying a cheap product. They're not buying features. So what we need to do down here in that stage, we need to really, really talk about the impact that our customer gets from this. What is the specific impact? Now, how do I know which impact that they want? How am I going to find that out? Have a conversation. So we do know that on the top here, I shouldn't have this, but one of the things I need to down here, I'll just abbreviate it, I need to have a convo. Now in this conversation, I need to find out things about from them. So what am I gonna do to find out things about them? In order if I want to know what your problem is, what do I have to do?
Ask about the company, how it's daily.
Okay, so I have to ask questions. Probably already better to ask questions than to start pitching. Okay, now I have a conversation, I ask questions. What do I need to, when I ask questions, what do I need to ask for? What do I need to find out? Their pain, and that pain results into impact. The impact then relates to two cases, emotional impact and irrational impact, and that final one that I need to have, we call it a critical event. I need to find out by which day do they want to have this solved by. Now, if I have to have by this date, let's say in Marcelo's business, Marcelo, is there a date that people really, really want to get things solved by before? Otherwise, it becomes either they miss most of the topic, or they miss most of the benefits. What is it? Is there a date?
Well, not exactly. Sometimes people like to start the year with a new solution. So it's not a rule, but.
Okay. Now watch this. We hear this answer all the time. The initial response to, is there a critical event, is not really. It's really hard to find. All the time. It's common. Now I'm going to try to explain to you that lack of preparation, not by, by Marcelo, but that lack of persistent lack of preparation, having that, essentially is one of the key reasons why there's a bottleneck happening later on down and earlier on. Watch what's going to happen. So may I ask, if they're hiring an additional person, would they rather have a solution in place before the person gets hired or after the person gets hired? Before. So hiring is a form of a critical event. If they hire 3 people, would it be better to have the solution when there, or would it doesn't matter? Just like, oh, just like I have 1 employee, 3 employees. When would it make more sense to have your solution? With more employees or just 1 person?
Actually, sometimes if you have the solution, you will need less employees.
Okay, but I'm hiring a person and I have a solution in place. Will your company be better, or will your company be better without your solution?
Of course.
So what you're going to find is that hiring actually can be considered a critical event. If you have 2 people join, I need to train you on this product so that you can perform better. So that's one, hiring of additional talent. Is there a particular event that growth of sales goes exponentially, subtly for a customer? Pick a vertical market.
Let's say IT companies.
IT companies. Would the,
clients in IT services.
okay, so what time of year for IT is a really, really good time to sell more to?
If we're talking about enterprise companies, it's when they are working in the budget for the next year.
Working in a budget for next year. So now what I've started to see, actually there is an event in time. And what I'm going to find out, and I'm going to unravel further and further, is that you knowing those critical events that take place in your business is a critical part of you determining that impact. Because let me ask you, if I'm selling you a solution and you don't have a critical event associated with it, or you do have a critical event associated with it, which one is more likely to close? And if I call you up because I expected a purchase order from you, and I say as a result of the lack of the purchase order, and I say like, oh my gosh, I was expecting a purchase order from you yesterday and I didn't get it, right? Where's my purchase order? Or I say, hey, are we still on track to meet your event date? I'm telling you, the latter one has more chances of success than saying like, oh my gosh, where's my purchase order? It's better for me to ask you, weren't you supposed to have a solution in place by this date? Are we still on track? Yes, we are. Oh, the reason is I'm not seeing, I was hoping to get a purchase order for you so we can hit that date. One is very different than the other. Okay, so what you see down here, this sequence of events, learning the techniques of having a conversation, asking questions to understand the pain, which will lead to the impact, both emotional and rational, essentially leads to a date that they have it by, is a fundamental thing that we need to do this. Not talk about product and features and cost savings and percentage and increase in revenue. Make sense? Yes. Yes, question. By the way, before we have the question, I brought you, not from my own country, but from a neighboring one that I'm closely associated with anyway. We claim them. Okay. Because I know that for you, it's about, what, 5 o'clock right now? Jet lag time? Yeah, it's time for chocolate. As I am popping a Red Bull, I just wanted to give you, so I'm going to ask somebody down here to open up the box and start handing them out. Okay, we have a rule on the chocolates, right? You only, when you touch them, the chocolate is yours. You can't go touch all of them, okay? You can touch one chocolate and then you take that. That's the choice you've made. That's the one you've been given. There's 22 in there, and I counted 22 people minus Edson and minus the gentleman in the back of the room. So Edson and the person in the back of the room, no like chocolates for you. Oh, okay. You can have 2 then. Okay. Edson and Laura get them. No. Okay. Edson, question.
So the question from Marcelo is, isn't the filing of the monthly taxes a critical event for the accountant?
Is the filing of the monthly taxes a critical event for an accountant? Now, is the filing of an annual subscription, right? There's an off-road track right next door to us. And so the filing of that is that, so what you'll find, Edson, is there always, and I mean always, a critical event. What isn't there is our focus as sales professionals to learn what the critical event is. Now let me show you what's going to happen, okay? I am the onboarder. Hang on a second. Hey guys, we're in a live broadcast. Do you want to come and join us?
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, we love it, but then you got to come in, then they got to see you.
I would love it.
Okay. Okay. So. Okay. So what we can, that was live, by the way, on camera. Okay. So. So think of the following. Think of the following. Take this thought with you for a second. Take this for a second. There is a critical event. I, as a seller, don't know it. but somebody in my organization will get to know it. Who in my organization across all this chain will get to know pretty quickly what the critical event is of the customer?
Oh, the customer success.
And why does the customer success manager pretty quickly get to know it?
They are in contact with the customer. Should know that.
They should almost immediately know it, particularly if they miss it, right? Now, Marcelo also indicated that there was one group that was really, really good at selling. Which group was that he said was really, really good at selling? And he did the following. He said, it's like, look, after we signed up the people, one of the great things we noticed is we got this particular list, and then we just signed up everybody, and we gave everybody a login. And then who had he call on the people who logged in? Marcelo, who did you have call on them? After you gave everybody's login name of the accountants and the customers.
Well, I'm not sure if this is the
Well, let's see.
the point, but you mean in the new idea we are trying to run right now?
That's right.
Okay, the first one that click and sign up and start using the
And who do you have? So the first one. So now for the folks remote, what we're doing is we are saying down here, I'm uploading 1,000 people in the database. And rather than trying to hand select who I need to work with, I'm simply going to see, hey, which are the people that actually clicked on the link and started going there? Right? Out of 1,000, let's say 30% of those only convert to active people who are logging into. And who's the person calling on those active people who are logging into?
someone from our inside sales team.
Someone from your inside sales team. Now, what you're going to find is what that behavior that inside sales team needs to have is not the behavior of a salesperson. It's the behavior of a customer success person.
That's why I said it's a customer success call, not a sales call.
It's a customer success call, not a sales call. Why? Because customer success, by definition, looks at impact at the critical event date. What sales looks like at, hey, what's the price, how much discount do I need to give you, and so on and so forth. And so this is the key of what I'm trying to point to you. It's a buying experience and not a selling experience. Yes?
What's the role of the sales team then?
It is not the role of what the team is. It's the exhibits, it's the skills that they need to exhibit during the call.
Right.
And so what we see, the exhibits down here, the skills that are being exhibited down here are necessary down here.
Right, so customer success informs the sales team to do that customer success call.
Essentially, we need to train the people on the front end down here on these elements that I drew about before, and we need to teach customer success on some of the key fundamentals of sales skills. In particularly, most people in customer success need to have a few fundamentals around this area. Conversation and asking questions. This impact and critical event, they in generally already master. Yes, sir.
So, this point that you're explaining, like start to have a conversation and start to understand the company, this will take more time to happen, right? You need to create a relation with the company you're trying to sell, to sell your product, and this will take time. In average, what time is added when you start to do this kind of pitch, this kind of sales? There is any way you can like speed up this process? Because I see that it will take like 2-3 months. You have to gain the confidence of it.
Let me answer that. In our case, we have a common point, the accountant. So the company trusts the accountant. Once the accountant trusts us, we have a kind of relationship.
It passes
through the accountant.
Okay.
Yeah, but, and then just to complement it, that's get my question. There's no way to start taking this accountant and making him do the same, since he's the one doing the relation.
No.
That's why I think the
I
accountant.
will love that.
Yeah. So, in this case, in this particular use case scenario, I'm going to draw you 2 funnels, okay? And then I'm going to show you where the funnel comes to. Now, in the first funnel, and this is typically a channel model. In the first funnel, and I call it, this is the accountant that we get to commit to. And then following the accountant, we get the accountant's clients to commit to it. Let's assume that this is the... Make sense? They're slightly offset, but it's fine. Okay. Where it leads me to? Causality, you folks know what the difference is? Although I have nothing, so I'm just... Attacks up, ice cream sales up. Ice cream I buy, the more. That's called correlation. And that means they are a result of causation, which is good. Good weather results more. Means people beach in the water, water shark attacks. Causation means that they are directly correlated. What I know is that they're going on to the beginning down here. Happening down all the way up here leads to, okay? That is, I gotta make these clients happy. Smiley face down here. Face down means happy. What does this want? Impact that we just defined. So which people should I reach out to? Okay. Accounts that are at that critical event. So I need to have the impact that I have at them. Now, what you is in this case, did something. Outbound calling, he did. You call and you accumulated some.
Well,
okay, so. Both are gonna. In this case, to you down here, if we're gonna. Now, he did the crawling. For this, he had to know. I'm gonna say the right ones here. You know which behavior here cause what's the condition after the people who are. I'm gonna say. Give me an idea. What is your
okay? Company.
Those are people or clients. Of that, and so out of the 2.6 million. All of those are going to be interested. Upset. In this role, he do a lot of activities. There's one way that you can become, go on satellite, massive program that the entire world will know about, landing on Mars. Lands on Mars. Boom. You know, everybody goes like, what is UMI? Get some traction, right? Unfeasible for most. We're not doing that. People who have a pain. So currently, people could magically find. Currently, open having more than 2 open, and let understanding that the is a critical. That's an easy one. Then everybody that's higher. What I'm looking for. I am crawling. If it enough people do, primarily their goal emails. We go to whom? Country with 80 million people. You're really, really long and busy. Brazil.
36.
Okay, I'm y'all. Okay, I thought I was low. Okay, so but my this effort up your database and to make sure on your client. So you reach out to the right people. The easiest way in order to make this entire machine efficiently on. Here's the hiring 20 SDRs. do this. And the brain, yeah, because that is where it's a very and a very now market well, but market these days going to trucking companies or something like that. Actually get to be very cautious to do that. In all other markets, the challenge up front, right cuss here, they're most likely, therefore this figure is that the on here you have happy client. Pick them up on the right.
Let me double. So, if the of their helmet and are trying to the account because they don't from their client. Probably I will find the post.
Oh, yep. That's absolutely. I just want to use the word that I. This is. He called. What I was doing. It's reversed. A mental illness and trying to eat, that's a doctor. See who stays up. That's the hacking part. Reversed it. Engineer. I designed this for Phil. When you have such extensive processes that you need hacking to get sales, we've been hacking for since eternity. We essentially need a process, and this process people because it's more efficiently going up, still on cross-sell go better. Okay, the key things that ran really well. We're gonna have the people in here, as we talked about previously. Fundamentals, not the ones where they start features and benefits, but to learn how to diagnose on what. What are and they come back and say, Jacco, I got the event. Does our customer have? Conclusion: most to 10 critical events. Very rare that's 20. You count every month and say like 5, you have 10. I will ask you still, well, because is a first combination which it essentially end up being. If there's 7 you normally have, and you 3. To eliminate critical event, the final skill that they need is selling. We see in August. In order to tell a story, whose story am I telling? And your story is that. Which story should? Watch the following. Over again. We're going to use myself. Introduce another person. Is this customer? And what story? Critical elements I'm going to talk. Critical event. Oh, same as you. They also want this critical event. Says that's not what I'm looking for. Who did they reject? How many customer stories? You get it like that. You keep running them, and if It makes sense. Okay, he's not a good customer, but you got them. They're not rejecting you. Stories. Now, if they like that story, are they buying from you or to experience? The peer. Art. If I would ask your customers, not rattle off 3, 4, 5 stories, then you're not a salesperson. Pitching features or whatever it is, salesperson. A B2B salesperson, their customer stories. And when I say a customer story, I'm going to see if you trip. What is the name?
Which one? Direct.
Break 1. Go by. Does a logo, a brand, does buy. Okay. Buy. He's the CEO. Title buy. No. Who buys? Fernando. Use case story. People are not logos. Now, sometimes you have. You can't just use his name and title and say like, say, Francesco is a friend or is a CEO of XYZ company. Name. The title can be left if you use confidentiality rules. But Fernando is the person who correlate human beings logo in here. They
when you're going to sell your product,
when I'm going to
present some cases of some
when I'm and a critical event in order to, and I'm using that in the past have. I may use not a client like me, but go of us, and now impact. A very common when you say, well, but they were too late. Like we hear a winning. I wish I 2 years ago and was missed. Tell that story to another. You talk to a person. They told me I wish work with. Still a successful. So, if I now back, I see emotional impact, and I'm going to identify things, simplicity, compliance, risk management. If I want to motivate this accountant down here, what am I offering? What will be a beneficial thing he could offer? Now, what offerings you had a few minus. Well, I remember that one. I remember small. Okay. In reais rev. There, then you had another offer.
The full version.
Now, buy, right? So they're going to go another a few servers.
App Store for solution, financial
here. Academy, but I think it was called differently. What is this academy? That's the giveaway. Well, the same thing, he was customer down here. Discount reports. Saying, hey, up more of your clients, you can earn to a place in the academy. And this is me and my team, my business. Imagine that this MBA or Harvard, how like, hey, how many points my education cycle. Is financial reward, very interesting to people. Knowledge is what, give them knowledge. Now in this academy that he positioned this academy, you can, but they don't want to buy that down. It needs to be a high cap, needs to be priced. Knowledge is, and then as he gives this, he now has to learn to give more and more clients they get. And with that, knowledge, more growth, they're expanding. This most likely buy more apps over and so on. My point has always been this, and I do this. You can sit. You can. This is the sales pitch. Just not doing it. Pitch. Customer in this room. Not Marcelo. Who's my customer? Who is the accountant here, so to speak? Estella. In this case, thank you, because that was actually followed the left correctly. This company down here right now. What am I doing to sell? Selling you winning? What am I doing? You know what? People may be able to outcompete me on. Try me at any point in time. B2B sales. Never be out-educated by a customer, by a competitor. On you actually price because whatever they're going to, essentially some competitors are going to offer it for free. But you can put a system in out-educating your out. You see down here, and you are looking to the same thing. You know, like we recently had here in SaaStr. What is the density of people who want? There are a few people. Buyers are there. Are there a lot of buyers going to SaaStr to buy, or a few? Probably a lot too, right? There are buyers, sellers. It's equal. Fair enough. Event. Now, how many and sellers? Education. You always do a better than buyers to sellers. And I'm not selling you. I'm educating you. You can do this. You can do this. It doesn't have to be. The fact that this can be done can work, right? Now, the numbers on it. Look, what I've come is that we not sell to the people in the rooms, talk to themselves, educated. Because now, essentially, I have the you person, great, and I'm not selling. The art of selling is online. This is what he needs. What is therefore the main thing that he needs with accountants? Educate not with the to run their business, including full minute YouTube video of every part of the business. Battery into the car, or you know, like it's simple that you can install a battery. I still ran install because I really know all these electronics have to support battery for. I don't know. If you're like, I don't know what will this thing. Quick video, 2 minutes videos, how to do. What's the second largest search engine in the world? YouTube. Use it. Content, protect it. YouTube. Steals it, YouTube out it, and they get certain guides. They get a. If you keep educating, then you will see starts to flow. A few things. Out to the ones who have a pain. To customers. Number one, when your sales organization, but more identifying a critical event by asking questions. Conversation. Around that, now is I'm going to go get a buy a impact, which is now the reason what I buy. Let's say the following. I have a kickoff call. Kickoff call is what is the role of the onboarding? Do we when we onboard the customer? What are we? Get you to. I pick up my CSM onboarding. Naturally going to say, Jacco, thank you for joining the call today. The goal of this call is onboard you. They say they can keep something to do. You bought from me today 20,000 reais budget, but in the forecast for you with a deal. Reais. And if you a deal on, will you surrender 20,000 reais? Just wanted to know that. Why will you never say while we're in the? Why will you never release the true indicator? There's a reason for it. You don't know what. You know. You in the middle of negotiation, I give you and show you my full the power of the leverage. I won't give that away. I committed to my company and to you that is going to change one day. What do I? What is the solution? Back. The relationship has. Did this person change their behavior? Customer success. What is they now these us now I do with this. So in this case, accounting firm wants a certain Marcelo wants that. What kind of impact?
To watch organized.
First on clients more organized.
Double entry of
double entry. Stop double entry. If we call okay. What should I report on? Have the data. What should I the diminished entry. And I should give them an month a report. Hey, reduce 250, 10, whatever that is, it should show that impact back.
That's what I reports.
Performance
Associated to every accounting.
Okay. Now in dollars, right? Rational impact when the reduce is that rational impact or rational impact? Rational. Report that why? That's the number they claim on this. Reporting back the rational. I can't say, oh, you need 2 aspirin, like 14, like you usually. I cannot report on that. Report on the lesser. Report back. Does this lead to what we want? Funnel does he want? What does he want? Clients. Back and I report. How many customers? And so progress. So he needs back. What we notice is that one of the things is like in the beginning when there's the client list, they if 10%, give us the full list. Ask you, having a list of 100 new services going to going to give my most, or I'm going to give it the shitty. The shitty ones already, and reporting should give me the impact, give me more clients. Okay, we need to, and this is a few things. Kate, reporting to the impact that he gets more clients. The last one is reverse ratio. Right now here, what is approximate win rate? That's just qualify full. I'll give 20%. Yeah, so I would say this is against SAL or something like that. Like I'll keep this between percent. You convert this is ratio for every where we're going to look at part. There's a growth here that we need to learn. Is my or I want more. Now, what if I here which client actually map the metrics, which me a lot of new clients? That my client acquisition cost. I'm going to acquire every price, but I'm currently treating them for acquisition price. You know, I've noted that these accounting firms of who they are actually are the same and determining the. They're the ones that actually spend more money. I know them, and because they here. Those are the ones. Blogging would be an easy example, right? Because that means that this accounting firm actually promotes about the blog, right? Now, let's say that this case, this example, manager busy doing business, does he or she have the blog post? Manager who I've determined that can do a good, we'll write for you. We have third-party blog from the Brazilian blog post. You can complete. We interview your blog post. You can publish it. What am I doing? Person. Clients. That's potential selling. Because when a client is selling to new clients, now essentially, or I should say, when that client starts a new client, you get a real pattern.
To help them.
But all that I've pre-selected because of how Slack is. Most of what's how, because one person talks another and how they're know about your sales calls. You know, like data, but you hardly get doing. Okay. Question. Okay. How do you into first hands what exactly perfect drop is a pretty decent background, smudgy or anything, but that to them is, well, when I speak to camera, speak the truth, am I? I believe that that is the key thing to this communication. Audience no longer believe the BS that they see leaflets and what they're buying. Who actually openly or from video, then from blogs. In video, they hear the signal. They see all the. They see what true knowledge. Anybody else write a blog post about it? I just found something. Even have to, right? News, whatever you want. So, you educate your audience. This video, among others, constant material, social media in America, so on and so forth. Question is, a lot of the owner of the company or the who are we targeting? Now, in scale, that the ideal customer company size in generally, it's defined enough on how we. Now, I'm going to look at a hierarchy. Okay, so means time, means I can go in Marcelo's junior member. What is their role? Perspective. This is a 10-person company. The machine owner. On the owner form that would work manager. And then the manager user. Okay, so right? And there's different. Now I'm going to get to this person. Tell this person, have you heard? What is the person going to go? To whom are they going to ask? The manager. The manager. Who's the manager going to ask? So we know chronologically good that the user. We're going to egalitarian hierarchy. Egalitarian this. If the user, I heard about them, company sucks. Call this the swipe left thing behavior. Every on my phone, I don't, and I delete and subscribe for a signal. Why not? I'm looking for a signal. I'm looking for a signal. If I see a standard unsubscribe, subscribe button, I hit it like a else. People have more going like, if I use shit, that's perfect enough to tell you, like, okay, I don't more.
Question. You have two okay? You have sometimes problem because always they are on the counter that they are least to difficult to have to communicate for the can fund at the same time?
Almost every sells to VBs has IDEX. IDEX is a veterinarian company. Veterinarians. The veterinarian office. Veterinarian is an animal, right? Like I just want to keep a doctor for animals. That just only runs on animals in the system. Do you think love to sell into doing business with animals, business with people? Yeah. Lives. They look at them and say, like, man, your animal, you need to have some extra insurance program on that. It is just to break trend and veterinarian how to sell animals to people. It ain't gonna happen. He's gonna face the same. It's gonna happen that accountants are gonna become excellent. They start selling these advanced services. How do we solve this with the veterinarian? How do I get, in the case of people to like and go to a particular offers a particular service? Fantastic service. Who talks about a fantastic each other? How many then meet another person who they probably understand is that his B2B sales, consumer is a B2C sale. So he needs to get and kickstart talk. You can kick large, expensive commercials that run to the road so that people go. I want that I saw on the bill. That's how you, but that's expensive. Right? Is Instagram. And any of you on the Status Digitae Instagram list, you understand what I mean world-class Instagram. Go like, holy smoke. That is really, really on constant value add community on the Instagram channel. Now you go, that is so, what is that is so much, and then you're going to give me so much is. It's so much effort. Yes, it's a different person. Posting 10, 20 Instagram, good solid Instagram campaign, and that skills 20 SDRs. Oh, I'll hire 10 Instagram. It's not against hiring all. I'm just saying that they helps, which then brings the inbound. Does that make sense?
So you need to show attention to the client.
Yes. Yes.
What we did, but I think we are misusing this. What
And we see in an what we do?
Not the accountant. Only
The client. They're streamlining that process. For example, is award or something. Accountant is loved by most. Now the client for the most love, right? Was this story? What are the ones that have helped? Which one are giving back, right? Which one?
But this is a little bit not as from the view. If we to my client, listen. Respect with you.
Yes. There's a problem, but that's the not a likelihood of. Efficiency could be, or it could be something that they want or accomplish. All is going to come from him and the way the client talks. Last thing we want to see here, I love the UMI. This is with the past decade, because here's the education stuff like that. I don't want to hear blah 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 word UMI blah blah. On an UMI web should be back. Oh, here's more content. Okay, basically 2 things from the consumer. One, old world is now being replaced. I'm buying a sure. She shoots with a right. And like while she processes, I'm now getting off the thing. She says, okay, this machine go with some things analyzed, and she says, okay, let's walk over here. And she's like, run this, what off-road, and so on. At the end of this, okay, what we have is your right side is 9, your left side this your side. You see the side and on that side. Really, in 15 minutes. By the way, here's the 3. The recommend. In there to buy an shoes. $350, 2 box insoles and everything. They sold. What was my problem? Knees. Can't. This is what we need to out-educate your customers. Show videos. Now we can argue like, hey, running store selling. The running store equipment. Trust that these will drive sales, and I'm not do measurement, get data on the customer, and we'll make sure that they're better and better and better. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, last question, and then I'm going to ask you a few. This makes you pee. You key principles I spoke to you about today. What other key? Over, educate, emotion. Is it you? Rational impact. We have certain dashboards based on these dashboards. Impact. Emotionally touches the other side of the thing. Emotional is somewhere they may benefit. That's why there's
Emotion in sales.
I'm going to say something offensive, and those people remote and say that will never happen. I see again and again that the current people are designed for people that worked in sales 10, 20, 30 years ago. We're now trying to create those and apply them to customer success. Commission comp plans. If we go back, customers, what makes you think
Prejudice?
impact? This financial position was so detrimental to the sales organizations. Shouldn't we almost every given time? So apparently we're not. That is because we are truly motivated. Motivation of human beings, primarily motivation he represents, is by itself. So what we find, one thing that you as and as managers and owners, before you start money, is understand other people that work for me actually do this job. What I find, organizations where people are less than 35 years, so to speak, that they need money, but what
Company, we can afford a huge salary to based on performance. Why I'm asking you that? We usually on target early, but
to have a variable cost result you achieve. Yeah, that's a difference. What we see again, cycle, and you compensate great behavior. I close that deal, I get caught. What does it take for me to get paid? Won't believe it. Not how much? Okay, so a plus. Okay, so it takes me on the action. That was the right action. Which human being takes an action, then goes back 12? What I did last time frame was really the position, more of the right behavior. That's why I'm paying you. That's why people bribe me. You many seconds before you get like, right? You know, like, well, I'm getting 14 rats through this room. This you get one benefit. .99% of the world will. Why don't we spend who have the right
Say that again.
salary, 10% variable comp, but then hire 80% full? Because I can tell you, for you, really hard if you know, for your clients, really not. Every program down. Sales in Germany are performed by people on the floor. And through that, if you go into a store, you want to work with a salesperson. It looks great. Whole thing, Jacco. Oh, dude, purple does. But the purple one, really, that work? Oh, so why do we? Because we hire right people is the problem. Don't trust the client. Point. That. Okay, I can tell you. Bless you. Have sold CRM $1 million a pop for the past 20 years. Work because you have these and experience. That model, okay? Trust, they have the skill. You can't trust a 28-year-old. Put that variable comp. Big topic. Get on this. Ruin these young people by giving them a comp plan that is dated by 10 to 20 years compared to what the world is about.
I think that many
inclination using sales very no offense to you. Up saying the word guys. I saw stand front. Sorry? Yeah, but you and I don't change. I'm calling them guys. You start talking about winning and killing. Very masculine behavior. Of RD 12,000 at the audience, I at least saw as many women as a DNA is not. This is where we start. Wait somebody else to do it for. So the people, audiences are most motivated by, you think. Your question, my are not motivated.
The young people.
The young
Young people, it's very difficult between 25 and 32, what a career here.
advice to you is heart a punch. $18,000 a year. If I give that person $1,000, I bet you they're interested. Now, here's what I got. Employees in trouble. They can't get motivated. I don't trust that you have the right. Some kid who has something, step in there. Yes, now and then it does, and that was obviously in every the differentiator. People hire. Well, look around you. I see people. So apparently, this nobody takes notes. Nobody of authority or knowledge talks. They write it down. It's there for a good. Somebody actually is going to do something. Number two, it is, can someone execute a process? Would they be, if I give, can they actually do those steps? Top in sorts, because we believe here is what it no longer works. Can't have enough to. What we're looking for, people who want to buy, still competitive in sport. Who is the mountain biker competing with? Good behavior. Process themselves to get better. Do they take notes? Next one. Water. Something to drink. I some Coke, maybe a bit of. Tell you when you get off the table, take your plate with you. I can tell you now, if that signal, it is a signal, not a single signal, create me the. I'm looking for. Does the walk into you and say, where do I clean up after ourselves? The social world. We don't clean up after ourselves. We're going to clean up after the exit entry or something like that. Not a. When you interview them, don't interview opposite side of the table. The process of interviewing opposite sides is really a can't. If I want to see when you're all. This reminds me of Jessica, and Jessica did. Employee I interviewed, and the director role, I go grab a cup of coffee with Jessica. Many of these buildings down here, when you get down to the lobby, there's have to sign up with. If we walk out of the building, over, she looks front and she says, "We're going." No, but actually I struck and blah blah blah. He loved coffee and he thought having like things important to start. Build a relationship. The front desk, respected. And felt like the side, right? Or in front, very accommodating. Oh, you appreciate. Where's the bath? And if I see a good conversational skill, that says 100% quota, 100%. I do not know who handed out the quota. I do not know whether I can get the. But these simple, what we're hired for, techniques, will they be motivated by the job, by getting the customer, or do they do any of the time? Because I'm telling you, my household, I have to do the I'm fucked. It's all over, right? They need to be doing these right things. Of being a community, 10% can be to do something special, something really good. A customer's really good proposal. Point of view, that is way too many organizations. That service the young generation. Sorry, they're on a the people of so I use this as an to listen at least to me. Okay, so buy and sell, pain, ice and knowledge. One or okay. In development. Subscribe to our channel. Design is a channel. To it, yeah. You'll just look at our views. See what people like to see. But we're in the middle. Last one. Last key tip. Complex.
You know, the sales, but it goes back.
These are closed loops, and there's a very advanced what I start on from the get-go. Are they passionate about your cause and your business? We have to understand that the people are not passionate. Who can be connected with? Who's passionate and good, because that's a person up at 3 email. Passionate people. People generally come. They are former. They have a personal experience. Used to be. Those are the ones you want to look at. About this. When you're trying to save the what I'm trying to, but you know, like that's what I'm passionate about. But other, you know, like they're all accounting or medical. People are passionate about along. You can, you can. You can't teach about something. Yes.
About people about the working on or how
after a year startup. Another startup, because they're and so as you come no longer a startup, and so they just startup to startup. You got a person to Starbucks, okay? It's the coffee shop mentality. You take the selfies of the coffee they're having in Starbucks. Because you job. Right? Exactly what you want. And dude, the coffee bored, but on across the insult the younger generation. You got two parts. The one who hop coffee shops. Let them be who they are. You're passionate. You got to make sure which one you hire. There's a bunch of people that are, they learn the dad and mom about the company. They bring part of that. You want to get that. Probably want a machine, right? Get. But if their parents are a lingo and their parents, did you check 1.6, right? My point to you is in to all his, I'm hiring. All the previous serve, we of an intern. You know, that's kind of like a special signal to people. Tells me like the way how you sell so much. I teach it to my kids. Program of the customers' children. That's a long-term investment. From down the road, when you grow, you need to hire 10, 20, 30 people that you bench that you sense. These young kids, we're them on the wrong, we're asking them the wrong thing, wrong, and then when we ask hard, I can tell you, working harder ain't enough. Smarter is, and who's being taught in to work smarter? Yes.
You just the entry point is something that you go to your and then you create the.
What's that famous soccer that is very passionate about money in Brazil? Okay, but may I ask, would you rather support a team that but passionate about what they do, or do you support a team that lots of money? And then that I can see on the field. And if they lose, they played wonderful. And you see that third, they played their hearts out. The will be there. The commercials and on like proper sponsorship. If they come back and they're all big money, we're all very dissatisfied. To soccer, I believe we see around. Give you this example. If currently one of your top salespeople takes $1 gazillion, go buy a car, drives it in the parking lot, will all around the car and take pictures of? Gosh, probably won't, because people are not motivated by money anymore. But if they like fund or something like that, there's something meaningful around it, and that is what we love. Culture, and it's of the alpha, obviously male role of like group selling. Cat.
I'm not looking at the money. I think you got that as the money, but I see he said like the startup environment. So you want the person to come to a startup with and somehow you create who start to be kind of self, not the startup environment but the company. You don't think
that is, but for a few things that you're going to be passionate about. But what do you love? What do people love in startup? There's a word that for startup. Startup culture. Having the most exciting startup was Philips Electronics. Is that shoving down pizza? culture, but I don't believe. What I find, what the experience it myself, cramped rooms where all of his when I find that our mission is big, incredible, we have to work, but are equally distributed among big reward. What I find that the mission is not one where one person gets sent, but what I find is, and we celebrate, get to like a vacation resort for a couple. As soon as sending out people to president, culture start to falter. We take away and we start putting people in elevator position, office, higher floor. That startup culture suddenly starts to break down. So, as we hired a passionate, this is a coming play. People go across the street. Startup culture. Old salespeople. Like
you come from a new
president. Yeah.
mindset of
Say that again.
now in the mind.
Your behavior comp plan. I can't, people have signed up. I cannot just change the comp plan. Get that, But what you can do is make sure that your pot actually compensated. The number one thing that we pot $2,000. Not how you create a pull together a pot. What you do is you create a compensation base. In other words, you go to zip group one. Now here's the reason why. One of that, if I a competing part in the competing going against it, just go see 4-1 with in the background, and let's say that part, and my team member shows up late every day. The people who hold is not you, the boss, person account. You're not helping. Currently, because the more I compensate you, tell you what's going on, then I'm boss and kick up against you. And like this whole boss culture, peers hold. That really, really hurts. Make sure that the worthy of what they all want, what it is, and then whoever gets the win. Somewhat provocative. You with a lot of things. I learned from you want to learn. Let's see a lot of you. We call each one teach one. Take this. Talk about it. You've seen some of this, but now share this back when the company. When you get using our session and say like, hey, here's 5 minutes of that or 10 minutes from Jacco. Here's what I learned from. Pass it on. The one last time again, folks. These groups need to be 50-50. We don't need to do it over. I wish we could. These groups are not 50-50. Here's why that is important. Political influence. You economically this keep excluding from females. It's economically a nonsense. For all we want to talk about and what on with science won't happen. But don't make it economically feasible. Everybody. Partners has an equal. Do not share that position on disadvantage now, because we see we're trying to tackle are too to just. But that was the last of my soapbox. I talked include inclusion. With that, I want to thank. I want to thank my model. I want to direct one being a customer. Oh, sharing this knowledge. So, thank you. Tight as